Hello, hello, hello. This is Els coming to you from Beamish Crafty Corner. And, well, you're going to do something completely different, okay? So, I've had a lot of people say, that they wish they knew how to sew, they'd love to be able to sew, and they just don't know how. So, I figured, let's take the mystery out of this. We'll start with some handwork, and then I'll bring out the machine and show you guys how to do this on the machine because it's not hard. Sewing is the easiest thing in the world. Okay? And I've heard people say, well, I want to sew on my tags, or I'd really love to be able to sew in my signatures into a journal, or I'd love to be able to just sew a project or sew a cover for a journal. Okay, so let's learn how to do this, the basics, okay? First things first. You need fabric scissors. These are different than the scissors that you would use on your paper. Please don't use the same scissors. I don't care what they look like. This particular pair is a Fiskars pair. It's a spring action because I have carpal tunnel, and this just makes my life easier. Instead of having to go with a pair of scissors, I can just use the spring and cut my fabric, okay? Now, because I wanted this to be a very simple project, I picked one of those totes that I got from my haul. We're going to be using this as the base, okay? Simple, simple, simple. That's what we want, okay? Now, I also picked out some fabric. This is basically a little bigger than what's called a fat quarter, but you can buy a fat quarter, which is a small cut of fabric. Typically, it doesn't have a selvage. This is the selvage. And typically it does not have the selvage edge. And it's just kind of a cut piece, slightly larger than this. And you can buy that at Walmart. Walmart sells them, okay? And they're usually less than $2. So you're going to want that. Or some kind of fabric. If you can't find any of that, you can always get muslin. Now, this is called muslin, or what they call doll maker's fabric. Okay, this is the fabric that doll makers use to create the doll bodies, and it comes in 3 colors. This is unbleached. This is the natural, unbleached, 100% cotton muslin. Okay, they have a white bleached version that looks like a white sheet, and it also comes in a darker dyed brown color. That's kind of why they use it for dolls, because it comes in the basic colors. Now, typically I would not use these tools, but since I want this to show up on camera, I'm going to be using a Dolls Maker's pin. Okay, this is a sewing needle, and it is a doll's for making dolls. Okay, it's for like putting faces on a doll. But I want it to show up, so I'm going to use it. And I would typically use regular thread, but I want the thread to show up, so I'm going to be using some embroidery floss. And this is good old-fashioned 6-strand embroidery floss, but I wanted it to show up. So we're going to do some basic stitch. So to do some basic stitch, I'm just going to cut a piece of this muslin, not much, just a little piece. So you guys can get the idea of the basic stitches. Okay. The other thing you're going to want is an iron. Now, I have a cordless iron, but I use mine a lot. So I'm going to let that sit there and heat up a little bit. You do not need to have an ironing board. A towel will do. So you'd get some thread off your spool. And let me just strip this down to three strings, because I think 6 is going to be a bit much. All right, so you have your thread. What you're going to do is take the end of your thread and put it through the hole on the needle. And this will be a little bit more difficult for me because I'm using 3 threads here. Okay. And then you're going to find the other end. Put them together. Just wrap them around your finger twice. And just run the needle through. There you go. Now you have thread on a needle. So the first thing I want to show you is a running stitch. Okay. Now a running stitch is used when you want to pleat something. So you would take your needle and you just go in and out about every 1/4 of an inch. This is not a stitch to use if you want to bind stuff together. This is only a stitch that we use if we want to get that kind of ruffled effect. So pull this through. And it looks like this. It looks like a stitch. Okay? But when you draw up the end, it ruffles the fabric. Okay? This is great like if you're putting in a skirt or something like that, but we're not doing that. Now it's also good if you wanted to make a flower. We'll talk about that later. So let me just take the knot off so we can take the thread out. And I'm going to show you how to make an actual hand stitch that will stay as good as any machine stitch. Thread, run the needle, and knot at the end. Okay, so if I wanted to take this fabric and I wanted to create a pocket, so I fold it in half, just like this. Use my iron. Press my seal. Yes, your cutting boards are heat resistant too, by the way. So we're going to start. Now, I'm going to start up here because I'm going to sew down and then across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle, I'm going to go in, and about 1/4 of an inch later, I'm going to come all the way out. Okay? Now, halfway between where I came out and where I went in, I'm going to go in again. And I'm going to bring that through. Okay? And I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep going back to that half piece, half between where I just came up and where the last stitch went in. Sorry guys, allergies are killing me today. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew all the way down to the end here. And this is called a running back stitch, okay? Because I'm running down the page, but I'm back stitching, okay? So here's the run, because I'm coming out, and then I'm back stitching. Now, if you're doing this right, on the other side, it should look like that. A solid line of stitching, okay? So I'm going to go all the way around this, and then I'm going to come right back. So now the easiest way to finish this is to take a very small stitch. See that? Tiny, tiny little stitch, okay? And then either wrap your string around the needle, or you can leave a little bubble. See, like a little bubble, like that. And then you just take the point of your needle and put it through the bubble. And pull it up. Right through that tiny little stitch that I just took. If I had a smaller needle, it makes this so much easier. But I'm using a big needle so I can show you guys. And so I should have left this all longer. But I didn't. Okay. just going to come back through that stitch, and that's it. It's anchored. Okay? Cut off that thread. Now, that's good just the way it is. We'll imagine that it's sewn all the way across. But if you wanted to make this into a pocket, per se, to put in a book or something, you would turn it right side out, just like that, and take your iron and just press your seam. Okay, now I want to show you that seam. Okay, let me get the two ends of the fabric here. That's your seam. Feel how, you see how tight that is? I'm literally pulling with everything I have, and it's going to stay. Okay? So that's 2 basic stitches. Now the next stitch would be if you wanted to add something on this, like to applique it. Now, an applique stitch is a little different, and we'll talk about that a little later on. So, I want to make sure you guys can do this project right along with me. So, here's what we're going to do. I want you to gather a few things, okay? First, I want you to gather one of these canvas bags. You can pick these up at Walmart. They're just a few bucks. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at Joann's. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. You can get them, I believe even Target carries them, okay? So just a simple bag, simple canvas tote bag. Doesn't matter. It can be a really small one. It can be this size. It can be really big. I don't care, okay? I want you to get a pair of scissors that you're comfortable using on fabric. Okay, your ribbon scissors, the scissors that you use for your ribbons and your lace would be perfect. Okay, I want you to get a sewing needle, a regular sewing needle. Okay, and if you need to, get something to thread the needle with, needle threader. You can pick up just a little sewing kit. It's going to have everything you need in it. Okay, you can pick those up for $1 or $2. Get some thread, get spool thread, just cotton thread. That's all we need. Okay. And I want you to get fabric. Now, either get it, if you've got a small tote, one that's about this size or smaller, then you can get a fat quarter to do it. If your tote is a little bigger than this, and this one is about, folded up, it's about 11 inches wide and about 9 inches, give or take, okay? Let me see if it says on the package how big this tote is. It says 11 by 9 by 3. Okay? So, get a tote. Get a small sewing kit, one of those little pocket sewing kits that you can get in any store. It comes with thread and needles and all that good stuff. Okay? Get one of those. Get the fabric of your choosing. And then a pair of scissors you're comfortable cutting with, an iron if you have one. If you don't, that's okay. We'll work without it. Okay? And any trims or embellishments you want to put on this. So if you want to put trim on it, you want to put a big smiley face on here, whatever you want to do. If you just want to paint on it, that's fine too. Because the next time we get together, I'm going to show you how to put an applique onto this using an applique stitch. That's all hand stitch. We're going to do the whole bag by hand. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you how to do it using a machine. Okay? So, get a needle. Not this big. You want your needle to be about 1 inch, 1.5 inches at most. Thin. Doesn't need to be like this. I just got this one so I could show you guys. Scissors, bag, fabric, needle and thread, and we can start this. Okay? So get those supplies together, and the next video in this series, I am going to show you how to apply your appliques and how to put trim on this bag. And the video after that, I'm going to show you how to take this fabric and line this bag. All easy peasy, okay? And we're going to do it all by hand. And then, once we've mastered that, then I will show you how to do the exact same thing using a machine. Okay? So you get supplies, and I will show you how to do this. We'll take the mystery out of this, okay? You see, I'll have you guys sewing quilts in a week. Trust me. Okay. So listen, do me a favor. Down there, subscribe. Like me. Ring my bell. Share me with all your friends. We're doing weird stuff. Till the next time, guys. Bye-bye.